All right, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Daboll to the Tennessee Titans to be their offensive coordinator. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe this. I was pretty convinced that Brian Daboll is going to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, we're going to talk about all that, his rapport, or I should say his relationship in the development of Josh Allen, Brian Daboll. And they just picked up, or I should say promoted, would it be? Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator for Buffalo. So 13 minutes ago, Brian Daboll official to the Tennessee Titans. He decided not to be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is huge, folks. The season's already gotten off to a red-hot start. Cam Ward, over $100 million in cap space, a number 4 overall draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. And then 1 week ago, you guys pick up Robert Saleh. I made a video about it. I kind of lost my mind because, holy shit, Robert Saleh is the head coach for the Tennessee Titans. And then now it's, holy shit, Brian Daboll is the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to break it all down. I see Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is gaining momentum to be the Browns head coach. We have conference championships just concluded. So the football offseason, there's only 2 teams left. You're going to see a ton of hires today and this whole week, offensive coordinators, coaching staff moves, the whole kit and caboodle. It's going to be a very active, I would say, 7-10 days in the NFL coaching system or cycle. But welcome back to the channel. I did just wake up recently. It is freezing cold. I can't take this hoodie off. It's like, so I made a video yesterday. I was in Chicago. I went back home to Chicago for a little bit. It was, when I landed in Chicago, it was like -6. Not wind chill. It was -6 degrees. And the whole trip, it was either negative whatever, or it was like, I think the highest I saw was 6 degrees. So it was freezing in Chicago. There was that huge winter storm. Come back to Florida. It's 47 today. It's 47 today. That never happened. So I'm freezing cold. The hoodie stays on and the hood stays on. But welcome back to the channel. Even though I wasn't really able to make any videos, this microphone was supposed to be fixed for this video. It was supposed to come yesterday, so we're still waiting on that mic attachment. But thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. As always, we are 10 subscribers away from our goal of 100 subscribers on this channel in the first month by the end of January. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support watching these videos. They are so fun. These wake me up. I've got some coffee here, but I don't even need to when I can talk Tennessee Titan football. All right, Brian Daboll got fired in November of this season. I'm going to give you some of the statistics. If you're not too familiar with Brian Daboll, this is a good time right here. All right, 2-8 season this past year with the New York Giants. So he gets fired. His technical tenure ended at 20-40-1. I hate ties. They complicate and confuse it. So pretty much went double negative at 20-40. Now, here's the thing. Here's the catch. We remember this. I'm sure you remember this. First season with the New York Giants in 2022, Daniel Jones and the New York Giants went 9-7-1. He won Coach of the Year, and then they lost in, man, what was it that happened? Did they actually win a playoff game? Did they blow out Minnesota, or did Minnesota blow them out? I'm going to look it up, the 2022 Giants playoff loss. But Brian Daboll, I still think would be a head coach. Oh, they beat the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card round. That's right, because that was a horrible, gut-wrenching Kirk Cousins loss, and then they got decimated 38-7 to Philly. So Daniel Jones actually looked pretty solid. They had Saquon Barkley. What he should have done and what the Giants should have done, now this is hindsight, is, it's complicated because Daniel Jones just signed with the Indianapolis Colts and actually looked like a good, competent QB. So, if Jones basically for 2023, 2024, 2025 was horrible. I've got some stats here. They finished 30th and 31st in scoring in 2023 and 2024, and they went 6-11 and 3-14. So, if Daboll didn't think Daniel Jones was the guy, they should have cut Daniel Jones loose. But what the biggest issue I remember with covering the Giants around that time period was offensive line and weapons. Like, if Malik Neighbors was on If Daniel Jones had Malik Neighbors for those seasons, it would have gone differently. Here's just the bottom line. The Giants are the second worst franchise in the last 25 years in the National Football League. Number one is the New York Jets. And these are just not very good football franchises. And there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of distractions. And at the end of the day, it just didn't work out. What I do think Brian Daboll is good at is offense. I think he's good at offensive development. I think he's obviously good with quarterback development. He had Daniel Jones in 2022 looking very good. And then the whole Josh Allen thing. But what ends up happening is, this past year they go and get Jackson Dart, who I do think Daboll would have been a great fit with, but they went 2-8, and the Giants needed a new change. They needed new everything. They got new weapons, or they've been getting new weapons. They needed a new quarterback. They got their new quarterback. They need new coaching, and they just got their new coaching with John Harbaugh. So Buffalo, Brian Daboll goes to be their offensive coordinator in, I think it's 2018, and I can fact check this for you. Yep, 2018. And while I have it here, they didn't do well. There was Sean McDermott. They went 6-10. All right, let's see here. This was Josh Allen's rookie year, and he went 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He went 5-6 with a completion percent of 52.8. All right, so that's his first year as the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. 2019 comes around. They lose in the wild card to Houston, but Josh Allen throws 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and the Bills go 10-6. And then the year after that, 2020, is the year you guys all probably remember. They lost in the conference championship to the Kansas City Chiefs. They went 13-3. Josh Allen threw 37 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions, came second in MVP, made All-Pro, all that fun stuff, and then he was there for one more season. They had another playoff loss, and while I'm at it, let's just look into it. They lost by 6 in the divisional round to the Kansas City Chiefs. He ends up going to be the head coach for the New York Giants, and the rest is history. Prior to that, he actually was around everywhere: Cleveland, Miami, Kansas City. So he's been in the NFL for quite a bit now. And now he is going to be joining the Tennessee Titans and their 3-14 record. This reminds me, and I said, so we made our Robert Saleh Titans video a couple of, like a week ago. If you go check that out if you want to. I also made a video over on Will Upton about it. This whole situation, it's so similar to the New England Patriots. It's just so similar to the New England Patriots. And I hate it because I don't know if Titans fans hate that. I don't know if they have ill will towards Mike Vrabel, although I'm sure they don't. But they probably don't love to hear that comparison. But it's so similar. The New England Patriots were a horrible football team last season, but they had a quarterback, and we saw the quarterback at the end of the year start to do some things. Right? Drake May started to look decent once he got more reps. And so they get Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel gets the defense. He gets somebody to do the offense, Josh McDaniels, Drake May, match made in heaven. He gets his defensive pieces. New England's a top 10 defense, and Josh McDaniels in the offense have it figured out in their, second in MVP race for Drake May. So they're so similar. And let's just talk a little bit big picture about the Tennessee Titans, trying to not talk too much about what I talked about the other day. Now we know who their OC is. I've had so many issues with making some of these head coaching videos where it's for example, the Tennessee Titans, Robert Saleh is the brand new head coach. Okay, that's awesome. But now I'm really curious what they're going to do offensively. So here's the thing. I see some similarities between essentially the whole Josh Allen rookie season and the whole Cam Ward rookie season. All right, I just told you Josh Allen's statistics: 52.4 whatever completion percent, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He didn't do very good, but they went 5-6, and Buffalo was not used to winning, and so there was obviously something there. And I want to look at Cam Ward because Cam Ward's statistics are I'm sure they're going to destroy this man. It's not that bad. 3,200 yards, about 3,169 to be specific. About a 60% completion rate, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He got sacked 55 times. He only threw for 186.4 per game. Was the offensive line a little bit banged up? I know he also will take some sacks, or he will put himself in position to take some sacks. So here's essentially what you're going to see now that we know Daboll and Saleh are in town. What you're going to see is a defense that's just completely revamped. I don't know what specifically it's going to look like. I can try and pull this up, but I don't know your guys' free agency situation well enough to just be going out of pocket and be making bold predictions. So Jeffrey Simmons, your second round pick, your early defense didn't appear to have crazy rookie seasons. All right, I would imagine guys like Simmons and Sweat are safe here. That defensive back room maybe can look different. Linebacker room could maybe look different. The point is, not everybody's job is safe other than, your Jeffrey Simmons or Sweats or whatever. So they're going to fill out the rest of this defense. And they're going to fill out, you're going to get names. Like, there will probably be some top attractions because you have an estimated over $100 million in cap space as it stands right now. You have like $77 million. So you'll probably see a couple of big defensive splashes that get you exciting, or that get you excited, guys off their rookie contracts going to a new team, overpays, that type of stuff. You'll probably get excited with some of these defensive headliners. And what it's going to do is it's going to round out that defense. And it's going to get the bottom of that roster, it's going to raise it. You're going to raise the floor at the bottom of that roster, get back to competition, get back to close games, just the whole, once again, kit and caboodle. So you're going to see a defensive turnaround, I would imagine, immediately, no matter what the personnel looks like and no matter what the actual statistics look like, that defense will be turned around by this time next year. I'm sure the Tennessee Titans you'll view them as a good defense. Offensively, I like the offensive line. You guys have put a lot of cap or a lot of draft capital into your offensive line in the last many seasons. Kevin Zeitler, I would imagine, is a free agent because he's getting up there in age, so you have to figure out what to do at right guard. But just talking big picture here, Calvin Ridley's probably a cap casualty, right? I really like your two rookie wide receivers, but they need something more. They need something a little bit more. They need a bigger pop guy, and that was what Calvin Ridley was supposed to be, but obviously that didn't end up happening. So he needs a solidified one-on-one, go-to target, 50-50 ball, games on the line, third downs for the game. You need a first down, got to keep the drive going, whatever it is. He needs his wide receiver number one, and I would imagine it's going to be a free agent. I guess maybe a trade, but I would imagine it's going to be a free agent. And then with their fourth overall pick, haven't done too much draft scouting personally. If there's not an edge rusher that like Robert Saleh wants and needs to have, I would imagine they actually trade back. Let's see if they have. Oh, I remember this. So ESPN and I'm sure every other big sports outlet and media and that website is what I'm looking for. I'm sure every sports website has stuff like this where it's like an off-season plan and predictions and priorities and all that stuff. But I have this one on ESPN that I've just kind of had on the side for some of these videos. And I remember talking about this a little bit in the last video. The Tennessee Titans' biggest prediction for them is George Pickens gets signed in free agency. Tennessee's biggest need is talented and experienced wide receivers for award. Titans have a ton of cap space. Pickens ranked 4th in the ESPN's receiver scores this season. George Pickens is a heck of a wide receiver. I think it was very, very clear in Dallas that he is a wide receiver number one, or he is more than capable of being a wide receiver number one. So, my biggest issues with guys like George Pickens is the locker room, his demeanor. I'm not sure that's somebody Robert Saleh would love to have in that locker room right out of the get-go. But I also do think it's similar, once again, to Vrabel and Diggs, where, maybe Diggs would have had, locker room. I know Diggs has had some stuff come up this season, too. But maybe you could view the Patriots signing Stephon Diggs from the Houston Texans one offseason ago to be like, ooh, is that really a good locker room guy? And then, you watch him play and like the only thing I think I'm more of a player guy. I don't think Stephon Diggs is a distraction. I think he's just kind of silly. I think some guys are just goofy, and it doesn't appear they're in the Super Bowl. It doesn't appear to have impacted his team negatively. So, if that's how Robert Saleh views about George Pickens, where it's like, yeah, this is a good place for him. We'll coach him up. Yeah, this is it. I can totally see George Pickens happening, and something like that for Cam Ward would be career changing. It's career changing. Now's the time to take big splashes. Now's the time to be bold and make big moves. That's why you saw Robert Saleh. That's why you saw Brian Daboll. And that's why you're going to see, I think, a pretty active free agency here in 5 or 6 weeks, however far away it is. So thank you for watching. 8+ so far on the Tennessee Titans offseason, getting Saleh and Daboll. That's it for me. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. Peace.